हरे कृष्णा। नमस्ते नरसिम्हाय, नमस्ते नरसिम्हाय, प्रहलाद लदा ददाईने, प्रहलाद लदा ददाईने, हिरण्यकाशिपोर्वक्षला, हिरण्यकाशिपोर्वक्षला, शिलाटंका नखाला रे, शिलाटंका नखाला रे, इतो नरसिम्हा पर तो नरसिम्हा, इतो नरसिम्हा पर तो नरसिम्हा, यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिम्हा, यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिम्हा, बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदय नरसिंहो, बहिर्नरसिंहो हृदय नरसिंहो, नरसिंहदिं शरणं प्रपदे, नरसिंहदिं शरणं प्रपदे, तब कल कमल हरे नखाम त्रबु अबुत श्रृंगा, दलिता हिरण्यकशिपोर तनु भृंगा, केशव धरिता नर हरि रूपा, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय नरसिम्हा देव, जय नरसिम्हा देव, जय नरसिम्हा देव, जय नरसिम्हा देव, जय प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, जय प्रहलाद महाराज, जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव, 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 जय जय गुरुदेव, जय जय वृंदा, जय वृंदा देवी, जय वृंदा देवी, जय वृंदा देवी, जय वृंदा देवी, नित्य गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, नित्य गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। थैंक यू।
Hari Bol. Very, very nice. Thank you.
I can't sing, so yeah, it's very difficult.
Abhi, there are, I think, other than me, 3 other people. You can ask all of them. They will say, you can't say that you can't sing. The aarti was very well done. You can ask them if you have.
Thank you.
So who remembers what we did last? Who remembers the gist of what we did last? First of all, who was present in the last part of it? So 3 of you. Yeah. Can you refer to your notes? Let us quickly recap, because the current verse is a continuation of those previous 3-4 verses. So do you want to, yeah, please.
What I remember, Hare Krishna, what I remember is that in that verse that we did earlier, 15th से पहले जो किया था 14th में, that actually Narad Muni is chastising Vyas Dev, his disciple, कि आपने वेदों में जो है लोगों को वही फ्रूटिव एक्टिविटीज कर्म कांड की तरफ ही वो किया है, पुश किया है, और आपने उनको उसके लिए इनकरेज कर दिया, जो कि ऑलरेडी हम इसी में पड़े हुए हैं। सो फिर तो उसमें दिस इज व्हाट इज देयर, और अगेन उसमें यही है कि महाभारत is for actually less intelligent people, and Bhagavad Gita is the only intelligent part of Mahabharata. So aim is basically to liberate, और जो कर्म कांड है वो हमें और बांधते हैं. So that knowledge about Lord's pastime and जो हम उनका कीर्ति गान करें और उनके लीलाओं का गान करें, वही चीज है जो हमें इस संसार से उबारेगी, जो हमें उनकी तरफ आकर्षित करेगी. तो इसीलिए वो ये इसी की तरफ उसमें यही आ रहा है कि पैंथेइज्म को उन्होंने वो किया है कि जो हम अलग अलग देवी देवताओं को जो करते हैं, और कर्म कांड में वही आ जाता है फिर कि अलग अलग देवी देवताओं को हम प्रसन्न करते हैं अपने स्वार्थ के लिए. तो वो जो पैंथिज्म से बेसिकली वो डिस्करेज करना है जो वो ये कह रहे हैं उसमें, ये है मेरे को जो
Very,
लगा।
very nice. You've covered the important points. You want to add something, Vinita, Uma, Neha? आपने भी कुछ लिखा होगा जरूर, या आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो भी है so far, please add quickly.
माता जी, yes, whatever she said, she's मतलब बहुत अच्छी तरह बताया उन्होंने। और उन्होंने यही बताया कि जो पहले जो वेदास लिखे गए थे उसमें धर्म, काम, अर्थ, मोक्ष, that is the thing which people were practicing to get liberated, which is basically Karam Kand, which method is not wrong, but people were using it in a very different way and they were not glorifying God. So that is the only way to go back to Godhead and get away from transmigration is through क्या कहते हैं, भक्ति.
Yeah. So what is pantheism? I think Vinita ने already explain किया है. What is pantheism?
Many gods.
नहीं, आप तो बता चुके हैं.
हाँ जी,
आप मुझसे पूछ रहे हैं?
Yeah, the others. You can also answer, Vinita. Uma can also answer.
Pantheism is basically worship of many gods.
Yeah. उसका opposite क्या है?
Monotheism.
Monotheism. Mono means one.
Yeah.
Worship of
Yeah.
as the supreme.
Yeah.
So, ये जो verses चल रहे हैं इस समय, Narad Muni, the spiritual master of Vyasdev, is chastising his disciple. वो भी क्यों chastise कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि वो दुखी है. And he's sitting by the river, unhappy and old and tired and wondering, why am I not happy? I've done such a great work. I've used my whole life to compile the Vedas. It's a very long process. और इतना बढ़िया काम करने के बाद मैं खुश क्यों नहीं हूँ? Why is my heart still unsatisfied? And therefore the Guru comes to direct the disciple. And he's telling him that you give a lot of technical information. Of course, you had good at heart. कि कलयुग में लोग मूढ़ा, नराधमा और मूढ़ा होंगे, तो इनको हर तरह का लोएस्ट ऑफ द लोएस्ट कैटेगरी ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग्स को भी किस तरह से गॉड कॉन्शियस तक ले आऊं, इस भाव से आपने ब्रेक डाउन कर दिया. पहले सिर्फ एक ही वेद हुआ करता था. विच वन?
यजुर्वेद.
Yes. And then he broke that down into Rigved, Samved, and Atharvaved. Just to simplify it further and break it down so that even the most, the person, even those who are least interested in God consciousness also can somehow come, progress to Krishna consciousness. That was his intent. But हुआ क्या? Pantheism promote हो गया. लोग confuse हो गए. यहाँ तक के लोगों ने सोचा, already हमारी enjoying mentality तो है ही. That's why we've come to this world, because we want to enjoy. So you have promoted that enjoying mentality by telling them continue enjoying, and to fulfill your desires, here are a variety of Devi Devtas. You pray to them and you can continue enjoying your materialistic desires and tendencies. So it backfired. Whatever you were trying to do actually backfired. So now today we have to do verse 15, right?
16.
Vichakshano syarhati veditum vibhor.
विचक्षुरु सयाति वेदितम विभोर.
अनंत पारस्य निवृत्तितः सुखम.
अनंत पारस्य निवृत्ता सुखम.
प्रवर्तमानस्य गुणैः अनात्मनस्.
Parvatya mansaya guner atmanas.
Tato bhavan darshaya cheshtitam vibhoha.
Tato bhavam darsaya cheshitam vibho.
Translation.
The Supreme Lord is unlimited. Only a very expert personality retired from the activities of material happiness deserves to understand this knowledge of spiritual values. Therefore, who are not so well situated due to material attachment should be shown the ways of transcendental realization by your goodness through description of the transcendental activity of the Supreme Lord.
So after telling him what you should not have done, in this verse, he's telling him what he should do now. The reason why he's feeling dissatisfied, why he's feeling so, his heart is not yet तृप्ति नहीं मिली, अभी भी प्यास है, क्यों है? ये नहीं किया है आप, इसीलिए. What is that? You should show the ways of transcendental realization through describing the activities of the Supreme. You have not glorified the Supreme. आपने बहुत सारा टेक्निकल इंफॉर्मेशन कर्मकांड बहुत बता दिया, लेकिन आपने भजन नहीं किया, भगवान को ग्लोरीफाई नहीं किया, इसीलिए you are unsatisfied despite doing such a huge body of it. So theological science is a difficult subject, especially when it deals with the transcendental nature of God. It is not a subject matter to be understood by persons who are too much attached to material activities. Only the very expert who have almost retired from materialistic activities by culture of spiritual knowledge can be admitted to the study of this great science. So, theological science means, what is theological science? Dictionary meaning देखिए.
Like what I feel is it's religion. Theology is studies, religious studies, study of religion.
Theological science comes from theistic science, which means that science that believes in God. That science which is coming from the basic foundation that yes, there is a supreme being who is more powerful than us, who is greater than us. And this kind of science, since it is spiritual, very abstract, is very difficult to understand. Some basic foundation is required. So those who are very materialistic will not be interested in the subject matter. इसीलिए महाभारत की रचना की गई कि वो story है. It's a soap opera. It's a Bollywood movie. Comedy, tragedy, drama, humor, suspense, सब कुछ है उसमें. So at least story form में लोग सुनने आएंगे, and then हम उनको खेल खेल में बता सकते हैं about the deep values of life and the goal of life. इसलिए stories की, ग्रंथ की, इतिहास की रचनाएं की गई to attract these materialistic persons who have, if you just tell them let's discuss about God, they will sleep, they will not come, because they just don't have that kind of pious activities account balance to have an interest in the subject matter. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that out of many hundreds and thousands of men, hundreds and thousands matlab lakhs ho gaye, lakhon, ya maybe karodon, only one deserves to enter into transcendental realization. After crores of people, out of crores, one will be able to sustain his interest to reach to the end. And out of those many thousands, और ऐसे करोड़ों में से अगर आप एक-एक इकट्ठे कर लें, उनमें से भी out of many thousands of such transcendentally realized persons, only a few can understand the theological science specifically dealing with God as a person. it's very difficult to let go of your power and your control and give it in the hands of another person. That's what it means. We are so used to, I was thinking about this, that look, all of us are in this class for so many years now. This means we all are already at this stage that we believe that Krishna is a person. That's why we are coming to hear again and again and again. So why is it difficult? And then, agar aap soche, Prahlad Maharaj was he's just a 5-year-old boy, and if he's standing at the edge of a hill and somebody's pushing him down, and that child is not scared, is not panicking, is not in anxiety, and he's completely giving control of his body, his life, his future to Krishna. So he just folds his hand and says, Krishna, protect me. Maybe that's what it means, that only a few can understand the theological science specifically dealing with God as a person. He was able to give control of his life and death to Krishna. Can we do that? No. We will hold tightly to something, not trusting that, whether that can save our life or not. And then he's being thrown into a cave full of poisonous snakes. Nothing is able to disturb him because he is able to completely give control of his life and death in the hands of Vasudeva Krishna. Probably that's what it means, isn't it? Tabhi wo keh rahe hain ki only a few out of many thousands, only a few can understand the theological science dealing with God as a person. So Srila Vyasadeva is therefore advised by Narad to describe the science of God directly by relating his activities. Vyasadeva is himself a personality expert in this science, and he is unattached to material enjoyment. Therefore, he is the right person to describe it. And Sukdev Goswami, who is Vyasadeva's son, is the right person to receive it. Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost theological science, and therefore it can react on the layman as medicinal doses. So he's telling him, you are fully qualified because you are not at all attached to materialistic activities. So start describing the Supreme Person, his activities, his form. What does he look like? What is his nature? What does he do? Unki activities kya hai? Unki history, unhone kya kya kiya, unki leelaएं. And just by hearing this, it's like pouring medicine through the ears. Kuch medicines मुंह से खाई जाती हैं, कुछ कानों से भी खाई जाती हैं. मुंह से जो दवाई खाई जाती है वो सिर्फ इस बॉडी को हील करती है, लेकिन जो कानों से खाई जाती है वो बॉडी के अंदर जो सोल है जिसको आप छू नहीं सकते, वहां तक पहुंच नहीं सकते, उसको हील करती है. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is such a medicine. Because it contains the transcendental activities of the Lord, there is no difference between the Lord and this literature. This is Krishna. So, for those who feel that Bhagwan dikhta nahi hai, un tak pahunche kaise? Well, you can touch the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the body of Krishna. Here, hold him, read him, hear him. This is Krishna. It's not different from Krishna. Because only we are qualified only this much. हम अभी इस लायक नहीं है कि हम उन्हें देख सकते. Book form में we can interact with. So first deserve, then desire. So the literature is the factual literary incarnation of the Lord. So the layman can hear the narration of the activities of the Lord. Thereby they are able to associate with the Lord. अब जैसे हम सुन रहे हैं इस समय, we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, we are associating with Krishna. He is with us right now. And thus gradually become purified from material diseases. Small doses. we are taking small doses of this vaccine. And slowly our disease is getting cured. The expert devotees also can discover novel ways and means to convert the non-devotees in terms of particular time and circumstances. Devotional service is dynamic activity, and the expert devotees can find out competent means to inject it into the dull brains of the materialistic population. What does it mean? Who wants to say? What do we mean by devotional service is dynamic activity? Hare Krishna, Anil. Welcome. Do you want to try this?
Hare Krishna. Dynamic activity means constantly happening and constantly engaging in devotional service, and the expert devotees, by means of preaching, kirtan, they find out ways and means to inject this medicine into the non-devotees or the common men or the laymen. So constantly engaging in devotional service is the key.
Yes. Does anyone else want to try? Yes, you're almost there, Anjali.
Taking dynamic means with these activities we progress in our bhakti. So these activities, basically devotional activities, are dynamic, means they take us forward on bhakti path of bhakti.
Iska answer, there is a hint if you read the whole sentence. Dynamic devotional service is dynamic activity, and aage jo likha hai, that is the answer.
Means dull brains, moodas like us, those who are forever engaged in materialistic activities, need this dose of medicine or this injection of medicine given to us by the expert devotees, the Vaishnavas and the preachers, by way of preaching and kirtan and chanting.
Okay. Anuradha.
Like people like us who are too much in material life, it's difficult otherwise. It is only through service that we can get towards Krishna. We come towards. Otherwise, it's difficult.
Okay. Yes, Anu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I want to tell, but I'm feeling a little disconnected at the moment because I just joined. I'll definitely express my views.
Take your time, read what I'm
Sure,
saying.
sure.
So devotional service is dynamic activity. It means it can constantly be improvised. It is not static. It is not fixed. It is not routine. Yehi karna hai, isi ko bhakti kehte hain. It can change. How? According to time, place, and circumstance. Improvise it according to the social condition, political situation, and administer it to the people. Jaisa mahol, jaisi समाज की कंडीशन, जैसी प्रथाएं चल रही है, उसके अंदर उसे फिट करके लोगों तक पहुंचाना is called dynamic. It can continuously change. That is why the acharyas, when they come, each acharya comes with a different style of rendering it to the masses, because he has been given, endowed with the intelligence to understand audience kaisi hai, and then improvise it in such a way कि audience उसे accept कर ले, पचा ले. इसको कहते हैं dynamic. And bhakti is that. Ritual को आप change नहीं कर सकते, जो ritual है वो तो वही रहेगा. But bhakti is dynamic. So devotional service is a dynamic activity, and the expert devotees like founder Acharyas Srila Prabhupada can find out competent means. मतलब they can. Srila Prabhupada ने कितने सारे पुराने traditions को तोड़ा to go abroad and give it. to foreigners. अगर वो पुराने rituals को follow करते, you cannot, Brahmins cannot समुंदर पार नहीं कर सकते, अपनी dress change नहीं कर सकते, ladies को preach नहीं कर सकते. So he couldn't have even reached America. Forget about preaching Krishna consciousness. But he improvised all of that for the larger cause that this has to go out. So I will wear suit and coat also over my dhoti. I will step out and cross the ocean also to go into a Malech, highly sinful place. And because the culture there is so non-Vedic that girls and boys are mixed from the very beginning, it is so difficult to tell them to sit separate. He taught them both together. Okay, dono hi aa jao. Because girlfriend-boyfriend culture was rampant. So he couldn't have followed or introduced that you are not supposed to. He said, okay, at least to get married. If you cannot stay separate or live separate, you have a girlfriend, don't stay boyfriend, girlfriend. I will perform the marriage ceremony. Again, marriage ceremony, sannyasis are not supposed to perform. He did it. Just to bring them to Krishna consciousness. This is called dynamic activity. उन्होंने वहां जाकर परखा कैसा माहौल है, कैसी situation है, क्या मैं किस तरह से इनको ये दूं message, and he made these adjustments. He did not make an adjustment on the philosophy. Not a word was compromised in the philosophy. But in the rituals, he made adjustments. This is called dynamic activity. Is that clear now? What we mean by dynamic activity? And expert devotees can find out competent means to inject it into the dull brains of the materialistic population. How? There is no comparison to bhakti. Now, yoga इसके आगे कितना फीका है? ज्ञान योगा, ध्यान योगा, कर्म योगा कितना फीका है भक्ति के आगे? Bhakti is very dynamic. Therefore, you can practice it in any age, in any country, in any mahal. Such transcendental activities of the devotees for the service of the Lord can bring a new order of life to the foolish society of materialistic men. I'm so glad I was that foolish person in this materialistic society. अगर प्रभुपाद ने ये डायनेमिक एडजस्टमेंट नहीं किया होता हम तक इसे लाने का, we would still be foolishly living our life. He packaged it in such a way that we are able to accept it, take it. In fact, he has made it fashionable. That was one of my first thoughts. He has made spirituality fashionable. He has made wearing a dhoti fashionable again. नहीं तो हम तो शर्म के मारे ही नहीं कभी आते यहाँ, ना पहनते ना करते, फिर लोग क्या बोलेंगे. लेकिन इस्कॉन की स्थापना करके उन्होंने इसको एक he made it a brand which under which you could practice all of this fearlessly in the company of each other. This is genius. This is transcendental genius. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his subsequent followers exhibited expert dexterity. What is dexterity? Skill. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, Krishna himself first led the way. आके उन्होंने एकदम से सोसाइटी में एक उन्होंने, what should I say, विस्फोट किया. Everybody is following the traditional Vedic system, and he said कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं, ना यज्ञ, nothing. Chant and dance in the streets. People were shocked and horrified. What are you doing? Krishna himself was the first path breaker. Harinam Sankirtan on the streets. The Vedantists at that time were shocked and horrified. Aapko sharam nahi aa rahi? You're a sannyasi, you're dancing on the streets like this. You're supposed to be sitting very seriously and soberly and reading the Vedanta. What kind of bhakti is this? He broke all molds. And his followers, subsequently, his followers also exhibited expert dexterity in this connection. By following the same method, one can bring the materialistic men of this age of quarrel into order for peaceful life and transcendental realization. So Prabhupada is actually sharing the whole Guru Parampara's journey. How Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then his followers, Nityananda Prabhu and the Choi Gosai, the 6 Goswamis, and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada. All of them were path breakers. Because society had become so degraded that Vedanta Sutra and Vedantists and none of that was going to make sense or survive. And therefore they introduced Harinam Sankirtan. Any questions? Shall we go to the next one? Vyakta Swadharmam Charanambujam Hare. Sorry. Tyaktva Swadharmam Charanambujam Hare.
Tyaktva swadharmam charanambujam hare.
Bhajan apakvo thapate tato yadi.
Bharjan apakvo patate pate tato yadi.
Yatra kva va bhadram abud amusya kim.
Yatra kva va bhadram abhudamusyam kim.
Ko vartha apto bhajatam swadharmataha.
Kovartha apto bhajatam swadharmataha. I'll read the translation. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything.
Right,
Hare Krishna.
right. What do you understand from this? Just from the translation. Any thoughts? You can read it again.
Okay. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage. Yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. So, Mataji, I understand, I remember one example which you gave, that for a devotee, the account is kept by God himself. So even if we fall down, so he is writing down, okay, he was in my service till now. Now he's fallen, okay, he can come back again. So with that, his account stays with him. But if we are always engaged in occupational duties, our account is being kept by one other department of Chitragupt. So that's why what I understand here, one who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in devotional service, if he is in some immature stage and has fallen down, still there is no danger of being unsuccessful. Still you are in safe hands. So on the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. This is what I've understood.
Yes, anybody else wants to try? Thank you, Arun.
I am reminded of Bhagavad Gita where Arjun asked ki,
Just a minute, huh? Yes.
Arjun asked the Lord that if a devotee is, suppose he has got straight from his path of bhakti, बादल की तरह वो छिन्न भिन्न तो नहीं हो जाएगा, वो बिखर तो नहीं जाएगा. And then Lord himself says that even if he gets, let's suppose he is fallen down from his bhakti or yoga, and if he is a devotee, he will his whatever he has done in till that time, it will not be lost. Maam bhaktya, it is like this, na pranashyati, नष्ट नहीं होता मेरा भक्त कभी नष्ट नहीं होता है. कौनते प्रति जानी ही, डिक्लेयर कर दो. he asked अर्जुन की डिक्लेयर कर दो कि मेरा भक्त कभी नष्ट नहीं होता है. वो फिर वहीं से शुरू करेगा. जब नेक्स्ट वो शुरू करेगा, he will start from there only. So ये याद आ रहा है मुझे इस टाइम पे.
Yes, and you supported it with a verse. So let's read the translation. As far as the duties of mankind are concerned, there are innumerable duties. इससे हमसे अच्छा कौन जानता है ये? सब duties में घिरे हुए हैं. All kinds of duties. घर की, बाहर की, बच्चों की. Every man is duty bound, not only to his parents, family members, society, country, humanity, other living beings, Devi Devatas, etc. Correct? यहाँ तक everybody agrees and understands? हमारी duties इन सब की तरफ हैं. कोई भी इससे बच नहीं सकता. But our duties also to great philosophers, poets, scientists. ये हमने नहीं include किए कभी, but हमारी इनकी तरफ भी duty है, because जो भी ये योगदान कर रहे हैं हम उसका benefit ले रहे हैं. So हमारी duty इनकी तरफ automatically बन जाती है. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one can relinquish, means leave, give up all such duties and surrender unto the service of the Lord. Hari Bol, another revolutionary bomb. कितनी सारी duties हमने अभी बात की? Parents, family members, society, country, humanity, other living beings, Devi Devtas, philosophers, poets, scientists, 10 categories तो हो गई. और इनमें सबसेट्स कितने हैं? और फैमिली मेंबर्स में तो कितने सारे आ गए, बच्चों से लेके. All of them can be rejected and given. Just by surrendering to the service of the Lord. So if one does so and becomes successful in the discharge of his devotional service unto the Lord, it's well and good. But it so happens sometimes that one surrenders himself unto the service of the Lord by some temporary sentiment. And in the long run, due to so many other reasons, he falls down from the path of bhaktya by undesirable association. शुरुआत तो की, सब कुछ छोड़ दिया, सारी ड्यूटीज त्याग दी, भक्ति के लिए भक्ति भी की, फिनिश नहीं कर पाए. There are so many instances of this in history, like Bharat Maharaj, है ना? उन्होंने तो as a king राजपाट छोड़ा. He was a thriving king in his youth. बुढ़ापे में नहीं छोड़ा, youth में, अभी पावर में थे, कंट्रोल में थे. Imagine अपना पावर छोड़ना, प्रॉपर्टी छोड़ना, ब्यूटीफुल वाइफ छोड़ना, बच्चे, आर्मी के ऊपर पूरा कंट्रोल, सब कुछ छोड़ के लाइक अलोन सॉलिटरी निसहाय ऋषि की तरह जाकर वन में रहने लग गए. It requires great strength of character. But he was obliged to take his birth as a stag. What is a stag? A deer. Due to his intimate attachment to a stag at the time of death. हमने किया था ना previous verse में. भरत महाराज की story आपको दिखाई थी मैंने with the PPT. He thought of this stag when he died. बस एक ही उनसे ये गलती हुई, पूरी life detachment सब कुछ practice करके जो उनके आश्रम के बाहर एक बेबी डियर के उनको मिला, उसको बचाते बचाते फ्रॉम ही गॉट सो अटैच्ड टू द बेबी डियर के भक्ति भूलकर उसी की सेवा में लग गए. सो एट द टाइम ऑफ डेथ उसी की चिंता, इसका क्या होगा मेरे बाद, एंड देयरफॉर ही हैड टू टेक द बॉडी ऑफ अ डियर. Similarly, Chitraketu also fell down due to his offenses at the feet of Shiva. But in spite of all this, the stress is given here to surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, even if there is a chance of falling down. Because even though one falls down from the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. फिर भी इसमें ज़्यादा फायदा है, ज़्यादा merit है. Because once he surrenders to the feet of Vasudeva Krishna, he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord, nor will the Lord forget him. And even if he falls down like Bharat Maharaj, even if he had to take that little slip that he did and he had to take the life of a deer, the body of a deer, he was given an extraordinary power of that of a memory. He remembered his last life. He remembered all the verses, shlokas, everything of his last life as a deer. He had a human mind inside of the body of a deer. It was also extraordinary. Just for him to realize कि मैंने क्या किया था और मैं क्यों अब इसमें हूँ. And then when he died in that body of a deer, then he was born in his last birth, that of Jad Bharat. And as Jad Bharat also, he could remember again both these lives. That of Bharat Maharaj and that of deer. Therefore, Jad Bharat made all corrections on what not to do in this life. So special mercy, these are all special concessions given by Krishna. So once engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, one will continue the service in all circumstances. This is a very, very big advantage. Because the Lord personally is guiding, taking care of your life. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that even a small quantity of devotional service can save one from the most dangerous position. There are many instances of such examples in history. Ajamil is one of them. Ajamil, in his early life, he was a devotee. The first 20 years of his life, he was a pure Brahmin. Born in a Brahmin family, trained by his Brahmin father, pure Brahmin. Brahmachari, सब कुछ किया. उसके बाद prostitute के संगति में आके अपने next 50-60 years उन्होंने spoil कर दी. लेकिन वो जो first 20 years उन्होंने सेवा की थी भगवान की, in lieu of that, at the time of death, he was saved. Imagine an old man, 80 something, or maybe in some lecture I heard he was 100 something. And मतलब last moment में भी आके आप course correction कर सकते हो. Immediately he gave up his home, his wife, went to Haridwar or some place and started penance, started bhakti yoga. So he was able to जितना भी उन्होंने अपनी sinful activities की थी, सब धो दी. In that last stage in life, and was liberated. He was given an extension of life. Okay, go and remedy yourself. And he did it. He was saved from the greatest danger of again 84 का चक्कर, 84 लाख योनियों का. It's not a small thing. Just because initial उन्होंने Krishna, remember, से शुरू में किया मैंने. Because in his early life he was a devotee, but in his youth he fell down. Still, he was saved by the Lord in the end. What is the conclusion? Bhakti should be practiced at all
Any-
costs.
Yes.
At all costs. Bhakti में ही greatest danger से आपको बचाने का power है. अगर आप इसमें गिर भी जाते हो, गलतियां भी करते हो, तब भी आप ज्यादा बचोगे than staying in your karmakandi life and doing all your हजार and lakhs of duties. फैमिली के लिए, बच्चों के लिए, देश के लिए, सोसाइटी के लिए, कुछ भी कर लो. Someone will save you from getting from taking repeated deaths, birth and death, repeated birth and death in those 84 lakh species. Okay, think about it. Very, very, bhakti is very, very precious, very unique. Tasyai heto prayatet ko vido. Bharti. न लभ्यते यद ब्रह्मताम् उपरि अधः.
न लभ्यते यत् ब्रह्मता मुह्यथा
तल लभ्यते सुखवद अन्यतः सुखम.
लभ्यते सुखं वन्द्यते सुखं
कालेन सर्वत्र गभीररंभसा.
कालेन सर्वत्र गंभीरं हसा.
Translation.
माता जी, आई हैव इन हिंदी, तो मैं हिंदी में रीड कर दूं?
हाँ पढ़िए, हिंदी में पढ़िए.
जो व्यक्ति वास्तव में बुद्धिमान तथा तत्व ज्ञान में रुचि रखने वाले हैं, उन्हें चाहिए कि वे उस सार्थक अंत के लिए ही प्रयत्न करें जो उच्चतम लोक ब्रह्मलोक से लेकर निम्नतम लोक पाताल लोक तक विचरण करने से भी प्राप्त नहीं है. जहां तक इंद्रिय भोग से प्राप्त होने वाले सुख की बात है, ये तो कालक्रम से स्वतः प्राप्त होता है. जिस प्रकार हमारे ना चाहने पर भी समय आने पर हमें दुख प्राप्त होते हैं.
Okay, Anjali, do you want to repeat in English? Thank you. Bharti.
Yes, I will. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet, Brahmalok, down to the lowest planet, Patal. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them.
Oh, wonderful. Nowhere can you get this knowledge. Nowhere. What have you understood just from the translation? Does anyone want to try before we read it? You can read the translation once again. Yes, sir. Neha.
So what he's saying is that people who are engaged in Brahmlok, they can go from, people who are engaged in Bhakti, they can go from Brahmlok to Patal Lok. There are 14 planets. So you can travel from Brahmlok to Patal Lok. you will not get you will not get satisfaction. Only bhakti and devotional service can give you satisfaction. And this satisfaction is going to get this satisfaction, this sense gratification, you're going to get automatically, like you get miseries automatically. Like in material world, we are staying in material world right now, and we get sad at times. So these miseries come to us in the same way. If we are engaged in devotional service, the sense gratification is going to come to us automatically, because Krishna is there. Krishna, as Father, is taking care of all our needs. So all we need to do is spiritually just take name of Krishna, and that's it. And everything will be taken care of.
Yes. So मतलब वो ये कह रहे हैं कि हम व्यर्थ ही इतना समय, एफर्ट, एनर्जी लगा रहे हैं टू एंजॉय. We are trying so hard to enjoy, जबकि enjoyment is anyways going to come to us like the season. Do we have to really try very hard for summer to bring summer? मुझे खींच के लाना है, पेड़ उगाने हैं, वृक्षारोपण करना है, खेती बाड़ी करनी है, क्लाउड्स को मैनेज करना है, रिवर्स को मैनेज करना है. Do we have to do all of this? समर लाने के लिए ऑटोमेटिकली समर आता है. उंगली, आपकी उंगली उठाए बगैर समर आएगा. मैंगोज ऑटोमेटिकली आप तक आ जाएंगे. रेन ऑटोमेटिकली आप तक आ जाएगी. विंटर ऑटोमेटिकली आप तक आएगी, और विंटर के जितने फ्रूट्स और वेजिटेबल्स हैं ऑटोमेटिकली आप तक आएंगे. somebody else is already doing it. तो इतना टाइम क्यों वेस्ट कर रहे हो टू एंजॉय एंड टू मेक अरेंजमेंट्स टू एंजॉय? वो ऑटोमेटिकली आपके पुराने कार्मिक बैंक बैलेंस के हिसाब से आपको परोसे जाएंगे. इवन इफ यू डोंट रेज अ फिंगर, even if you don't go to office to work, even if you don't do anything, you will still get your quota of enjoyment. What a statement. हमें लगता है नहीं, कोशिश किए बगैर नहीं एंजॉय कर सकते. नहीं करूंगी तो कैसे होगा? हॉलिडे प्लान नहीं करूंगी तो हॉलिडे पे कैसे जा सकती हूँ? पैसे इकट्ठा नहीं करूंगी तो कैसे जा सकती हूँ, कैसे खर्च सकती हूँ? नहीं, ऐसा नहीं हो है. These things are going to come to you automatically. Why are you wasting your time on them? Your time is precious. केवल और केवल उसको भक्ति के लिए खर्च दो. Don't waste it on other things because they are anyways coming. Why are you wasting your time? Because time is, in spiritual world, time is money. This is the real money. Because आपको एक second भी extra नहीं मिलेगा when your time is up. If you say नहीं, मैं एक नाम और जप कर लूं, एक व्रत और रख लूं, and then I can get out of this world. You won't. Time is very costly, very expensive. Why waste it in making arrangements for enjoyment? You're murdering time. You are murdering
I
time.
also have a very funny example to add to this.
Bolo.
So I was reading this book, which is written by I forgot his name, the guy who wrote Secret, no? So he's written another book named Thank You. So I was reading this.
He has written which book earlier?
The Secret.
Secret. Achha.
Yeah. So he's written another book named Thank You. So I was reading this book, and in this book is all about, showing gratitude, and, you have to get up in the morning and, give gratitude for things you don't have. So you are manifesting those things. This is before I started, being a bhakt. So there was a check, and the author said that you write this check, and universe is going to give it to you. So I took that. You were supposed to take the printout of the check. I took the printout of the check and I wrote 10 lakh rupees. So, and I told my mother that I've written a check and the universe is going to give me 10 lakh rupees. So I was not working that point of time. My mother was like, तुम पे कहाँ से आएंगे 10 लाख रुपए, तुम्हें कौन देगा? मैं को उन्होंने बोला कि लिख दो, और मैंने लिख दिए. उस टाइम हो गया demonetization. And my father had a lot of money and he didn't know what to do with that money, and that money came to me. फिर मेरे को बहुत पैसे मिल गए. मैंने कहा मैं सेकंड चेक लिखूंगी. So मदर सेड नहीं, हम पे कृपा करो, अब आप दूसरा चेक मत लिख देना. So कहाँ से, what it happened. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this. Here, this is a practical example.
Yeah.
For all those who still doubt it, कि तो किताबी बातें हैं,
show me the money. असल में थोड़ी पैसा आता है, आता है. You will suddenly get a lottery. You will suddenly get holiday tickets. As a couple, go and you have won free tickets, 4 nights, 5 days to so and so destination. You will get whatever. And if you make great plans to go on holiday, you can't go even if you have the money. You can't go. Don't think that आपके effort से ही आप अपनी life enjoy कर रहे हो. घर आपकी वजह से बन गया और आपके घर में जो जो आराम की चीजें वो आपके effort से नहीं आई हैं. Don't waste your time on that. We are getting entangled. It's like a big makdi with those 50 tentacles spread out. और आप उसके जाल में फंसते जा रहे हो. मकड़ी ने आपको पकड़ रखा और you don't even realize it. आपको लग रहा है वो मुझे मसाज कर रही है, मेरे लिए है, मेरे सुख के लिए है. No, she's sucking your blood. And your time. सबसे precious चीज है हमारी time. कुछ देर के लिए हम यहाँ पर. उस टाइम को यूटिलाइज कर लो to dig a tunnel out of this world. It's amazing. Srimad Bhagavatam is amazing. Have you ever read this anywhere? Kitna authoritatively Narad Muni is saying all this. So, every man, everywhere is trying to obtain the greatest amount of sense enjoyment by various endeavors. कर रहे हैं ना हम सब, किसी तरह आराम मिल जाए, खुशी मिल जाए. ये रोज रोज मेड की छुट्टी से एक 24 घंटे वाली रख लो, परमानेंटली खुशी मिल जाएगी. जब बुलाना है बुला लिया. You can't. You won't be able to do it. जितना आपका कोटा है उतना ही मिलेगा. जितने मर्जी अरेंजमेंट्स कर लो, 24 घंटा, 48 घंटा, ईयरली, दिस दैट, this device, that device, nothing is going to really work. Some men are busy engaged in trade, industry, economic development, political supremacy. Everything Prabhupada is covering because he has seen the world. He's writing this at 70. He's seen the world. So people are busy in trade, अपने घर के business, industry, economic development, jobs, political supremacy, politicians, and some of them are engaged in fruitive work to become happy in the next life by attaining higher planets. Some dan pun, some yagya, japa, tapa, some pious activity, some donations, ताकि आगे को मुझे कुछ मिल जाए. Fruitive means मेरे effort का मुझे फल मिलना चाहिए. That's the meaning of fruitive activity. I'm doing it with the intention of getting some interest on this. सूद समेत वापस मिले मुझे. इस intention से जो किया जाता है. That's called fruitive. Fruits चाहिए मुझे मेरे effort. It is said that on the moon, the inhabitants are fit for greater sense enjoyment by drinking somras. Free मिलता है वहां पे, without any liver खराब, कुछ नहीं होता है वहां पे. No disease. And the Pitralok is obtained by good charitable work. So there are various programs for sense enjoyment, either during this life or in the life after death. Some are trying to reach the moon or other planets by some mechanical arrangement, क्योंकि Prabhupada के time पे वो पहला स्पुतनिक उड़ा था to land on the moon. Therefore he is mentioning कि mechanical arrangement से भी लोग जाते हैं, क्योंकि ये तो बड़ा artificial और दक्यानुसी और primitive underdeveloped तरीका है एक रॉकेट में बैठ के जाना. बड़ा ही घटिया सा तरीका है. हमारे ऋषि मुनि तो मंत्र मेडिटेशन से ही पहुंच जाते थे. That's more advanced. No fuel, no kharcha, nothing required. They could just travel. That was the a better mode of travel. So तब भी जाते थे, तो हमने क्या बड़ा तीर मार लिया कि एक रॉकेट वहां पे पहुंचता गया, वो भी एक ही बार गया. Nobody has been able to go after that, which is now putting everybody into doubt कि पहली बार भी जो गया वो वाकई में गया कि नहीं गया, तो दोबारा क्यों नहीं जा पाया, है ना? So
People say that it was all fake, और वो
yeah, it was staged.
पे ही कहीं पे फोटो ले ली थी. It's all fake.
It's absolutely so controversial है. एक ही बार जा पाए, उसके बाद 50 साल निकल गए, दोबारा नहीं जा पा रहे, क्यों? तो हमारे तो आए दिन चले जाते थे, कभी इंद्रलोक गए, कभी ब्रह्मलोक गए, कभी चंद्रलोक गए, कभी सूर्यलोक गए, और क्या बड़ा तीर मार लिया. लेकिन दोनों में कॉमन चीज क्या है? एंजॉयमेंट के लिए भ्रमण करना. So some are trying to reach the moon or other planets by some mechanical arrangement, for they are very anxious to get into such planets without doing good work. This is called bypassing the hard work. पहले हम कैसे जाते थे इन planets पे? You had to do some tapasya, some hard work that is required, some pious activity, and automatically you will be given a visa and a ticket to fly. पहुंच जाते थे कार्मिक bank balance के हिसाब से. And everybody followed it, everybody knew, and they could do it. Then came Kalyug, without deserving, desiring. लायक नहीं हूं मैं, मेहनत भी नहीं करना चाहता, तो मैकेनिकल मींस दे दो कि whether I deserve or no deserve, I just want to do. Just see, and we call it science and advancement. We're calling this advancement. कितना गिर गया है culturally, इसको advancement बोल रहे हैं. But it is not to happen. It won't happen. By the law of the Supreme, different places are meant for different grades of living beings according to the work they have performed. By good work only, as prescribed in the scriptures, can one obtain birth in a good family, opulence, good education and good bodily features. ये सब आप कमा के लाते हो, ये चांस नहीं है, ये आपने कमाया हुआ है. जो भी हम इस वक्त खा रहे हैं, पैसा, गुड लुक्स, ऑपुलेंस, ये इस जन्म की मेहनत की वजह से नहीं है, प्रीवियस कार्मिक बैंक बैलेंस कमा कर लाए हुआ. वी आर फूलिंग आवरसेल्व्स कि इस जन्म में मैंने बहुत मेहनत की और मुझे मिला. We see also that even in this life, one obtains a good education or money by good work. Similarly, in our next birth, we get such desirable positions only by good work. Otherwise, it would not so happen that two persons born in the same place at the same time are seen differently placed according to previous work. होता है ना? एक ही घर में एक माँ के इतने बच्चे, सबकी डेस्टिनी अलग. Same mother, same father, same house, same food, yet सबका pain and pleasure separate. Why? But all such material positions are impermanent. The positions in the topmost Brahmalok and in the lowest Patal are also changeable according to our own work. The philosophically inclined person must not be tempted by such changeable positions. These are just candies. They're trying to entice you with these candies. Don't be tempted if you're on weight loss. Be tempted. He should try to get into the permanent life of bliss and knowledge, where he will not be forced to come back again to the miserable material world, either in this or that planet. ये एक जगह है जहां पे हमारा कंट्रोल नहीं, हमें खींच के लाया जाएगा, you know, and we will have to come cribbing, crying, kicking, fighting, लेकिन आना पड़ेगा. Miseries and mixed happiness are two features of material life, and they are obtained in Brahmalok and in other lokas also. चलो चलो ब्रह्मलोक, supposing आप पहुंच गए, स्वर्गलोक पहुंच गए, मिजरी वहां पे भी है. You can't escape. वहां पे भी seasons change होंगे, गर्मी आएगी, सर्दी भी आएगी. You have to tolerate and go through that. They are obtained in the life of the demigods and also in the life of dogs and hogs. What are obtained? What are obtained? अभी जो हम पढ़ रहे हैं, if you're paying attention, yes, Sanjali.
Miseries and happiness,
Yes,
both are
thank you.
mixed and are obtained.
Yeah, thank you. You're paying very good attention. Miseries and happiness will come even in the life of demigods. देवताओं को भी है, सारा टाइम भागते हैं विष्णु के पास. इंद्र तो सारा टाइम डरा डरा घूमता रहता है, और मेरा ये छीन लेगा, मेरा वो छीन लेगा, मेरा राजपाट चला जाएगा. किसी ने जरा सी तपस्या शुरू कर दी, वो भागना शुरू कर देता है. इसने तपस्या शुरू कर दिया, मेरे राजपाट का क्या होगा? He is also in anxiety. Then people want to go, जी मेरे पिताजी स्वर्गवासी हो गए. स्वर्ग. The miseries and mixed happiness of all living beings are only of different degree and quality, but no one is free from the miseries of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukha, Dosha, and Darshan. Birth, death, old age, disease, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. सब जगह है, किसी प्लैनेट में चले जाओ आप, सब जगह. Similarly, everyone has his destined happiness also. No one can get more or less of these things simply by personal endeavors. Even if they are obtained, they can be lost again. They can be obtained by Ugra Karam. It's mentioned in the scriptures. आपकी destiny में नहीं है, लेकिन आपकी जिद है. नहीं, मुझे चाहिए. Although मेरी destiny में नहीं है, मुझे चाहिए. So you will be able to snatch it, grab it, but you won't be able to enjoy it. It will come because you work excessively, out of the way, breaking all rules of the universe. It will come to you momentarily and then it will go. You won't be able to keep it. That's called Ugra Karam. And it's sinful. You will get a repercussion for trying excessively hard to get something for which you were not destined. Why not destined? Simply because you didn't have it in your karmic bank balance. Not that somebody up there is trying to punish you or torture you. No, आपने वो डिपॉजिट ही नहीं किया था अपने बैंक अकाउंट में और अब आप विड्रॉ करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, तो कैसे मिल जाएगा? जो डिपॉजिट किया है वही विड्रॉ कर सकते हो. You simply haven't worked for it and you are desiring it. One should not, therefore, waste time. Time is money. Time is precious. Time is wealth. I'm not talking about the ordinary money. The real wealth is time. With these flimsy things, one should only endeavor to go back to Godhead. That should be the mission of everyone's life. Our real wealth is time. I did not understand this for years and years and years and years. As a child, we would hear, time is precious, and yet we would just hear it, okay, and then go and waste so much of time playing, read this, that. Now I'm realizing whatever time has gone is not going to come back, and we have very little time. And we need some time for practicing devotional service because it's a practice. और practice के लिए मुझे health भी चाहिए, समय भी चाहिए for the result to come. So time is the real wealth. Don't waste it in unnecessary work. Too much work. Money will come to your account regardless of whether you are going out to work or not. That does not mean that you have to sit at home doing nothing. That's not the point of this discussion. Of course, the men have to go and ask. But they will get their livelihood by reasonable amount of endeavor, not excessive endeavor. Whatever you are getting by reasonable amount of endeavor this is proof that that is what is destined for you. अगर आपको उसके लिए बहुत ज्यादा मेहनत करनी पड़ रही है, मतलब ये आपके अकाउंट में नहीं है और आप जबरदस्ती उसको खींच कर लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, you will be more and more miserable. So give up all such activity. And anyways, devotional service is such, like Neha was saying, that even if you give up everything, practically, physically, give up everything and you just engage in devotional service, Krishna takes care of all your needs. We are seeing tons and tons of examples of it, practically day in and day out in ISKCON. The way things are arranged. Yes, Bharti? आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
अब you can hear me? If we give up everything, तो फिर तो भगवान ने भी कहा है कि अपना कर्म करो, तो फिर वो सब कैसे होगा? कि कितने लोग हैं, अब वो अभी भी
Bhakti is
बैठे
your
होते हैं
karam.
खाली.
Bhakti is your karam. Bhakti is, do you think bhakti is easy? उसमें बैठना पड़ता है. Bhakti is a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it needs hard work. But I'm saying for the material things also, like if we have come in this Kali Yuga और material world में आए हैं, तो उसके लिए हमें अपने daily course करने, वो तो करनी पड़ेगी ना, duties तो. We have to do this. वो है कि that is absolutely right कि हाँ उसके लिए we don't have to endeavor so much, या उसके लिए we are not doing nothing about regarding Krishna या devotional service में नहीं है. But we can't give up everything.
Like what? Give an example. Let's debate on this.
Like अभी आपने ऐसे कहा कि like Neha also said कि give up everything. जो भी उन्होंने read किया था कि
Give me an
and just for the
example. Give me an example of what you can't give up.
like I'm is it like I'm a married lady, I'm a गृहस्थ को मैं कैसे मतलब मैं अब सब कुछ for my example, like I take my example itself, like if I leave everything and I take a sannyas, मैं साध्वी बन जाती हूँ.
I
And
think
just
she means occupational duties. Matlab, what are her occupational duties? Mine, everybody's giving up
and
those.
I leave everything and I go to sannyas and go to for example I go to Vrindavan Dham and stay there and just do and chant and nothing else. सिर्फ devotional service में पूरा engage होती हूँ. So that is fine. Like my question is that.
Who wants to answer? Yes, Neha.
देखो ये जो इन्होंने कहा ना सब कुछ दे दो, वो सिर्फ इस वर्स से स्पेसिफिक है. आपने जब 3rd वर्स पढ़ा था भगवत गीता में, तो भगवान ने क्या कहा था? भगवान ने कहा था दैट आई ऑल्सो परफॉर्म माई प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटीज. मैं भी अपनी प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटी कर रहा हूँ, अगर नहीं करूंगा तो प्रोजनी हो जाएगी. सो यू डोंट हैव टू गिव अप योर प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटीज. अब प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटीज का मतलब क्या है? 2 टाइप की होती है प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटी. एक होती है मटेरियल, एक होती है स्पिरिचुअल. मटेरियल तो हमें करनी ही पड़ेगी इस शरीर को मेंटेन करने के लिए, जो हम नहीं दे सकते. और हमें क्या करना है? उसमें बैलेंस बनाना है. पहले तो हमें उनको 50-50 करना है. बाद में क्या करना है कि हमें स्पिरिचुअल ड्यूटीज अपनी बढ़ानी है और मटेरियल ड्यूटीज कम करनी है. सो वी हैव टू मेक द बेस्ट यूज ऑफ बैड बार्गेन. हमें जो शरीर को मेंटेन करने के लिए चीजें करनी है वो तो करनी ही पड़ेंगी.
I want to say something here. गीता में एक और श्लोक है कि वो अर्जुन से बोलते हैं कि युद्ध करो माम अनुस्मरति, मुझे स्मरण करते हुए युद्ध करो. तो ये नहीं है कि फिजिकली छोड़ना है, हमें अपने मन से छोड़ना है. कई बार क्या होता है, हम बैठे होते हैं, माला कर रहे होते हैं, वो कर ड्यूटी रहे स्पिरिचुअल, लेकिन हमारा मन रखा है वहां मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में. तो जहां हम मन से होंगे वो एक्चुअली वही है हम एक्चुअली, जहां आप मन से हो. और आप काम करते हुए भी मन अगर आपका कृष्ण में है तो वो आपकी एक तरीके से वो बन जाएगी कि आपका खाना बनाना भी एक पूजा बन जाएगा, वो एक भक्ति हो जाएगी वो भी. इट्स ऑल अबाउट मन. मन कहाँ है आपका? मन से आप डिटैच.
आपने बार बार बोला कीपिंग कृष्णा एज द सेंटर ऑफ योर लाइफ.
संन्यास भी ना मन से होता है. अगर आप बैठे यहाँ हो और दिमाग आपका कहीं और है तो बस समझो आप वहीं हो. सो इट्स नॉट फिजिकली. मेरे हिसाब से जो अभी तक इतना सबका सुनते सुनते मेन होता है मन. और भगवान भी ये कहते हैं कि सभी इंद्रियों में मैं मन हूँ. तो अगर आपका मन जहाँ है बस समझो आप वहीं हो. तो अगर मन से आप अब अगर हम, मेरे साथ भी जैसे कई बार होता है, चैंटिंग कर रहे हैं और दिमाग में ये चल रहा है कि अभी स्कूल का ये वाला काम नहीं हुआ, वहां चला जाता है दिमाग. फिर याद आता है कि कर क्या रहे हैं हम, माला यहाँ जप रहे हैं, मन वहां चल रहा है. तो इट्स बेसिकली मेरे हिसाब से इट्स डिटैचमेंट इज मन से. अगर आपका मन जितने देर कृष्ण में है, यू आर बेसिकली एक तरीके का सन्यासी है, जितना ज्यादा हम मन उनमें रखें. चाहे हम शरीर से करते रहे ड्यूटी, लेकिन मन यही है, यही दिस इज व्हाट इज डिफिकल्ट टू डू, इजी टू से बट डिफिकल्ट टू डू, और लेकिन कृपा से ही होता है। एक हिस्ट्री में भी एक एग्जांपल आता है, रस खान जो एक कृष्ण भक्त थे, he was the सेनापति in I think मुगल आर्मी में थे, he used to go and fight, वो सब करते थे, but he was the greatest of कृष्ण भक्त। बहुत सारे ऐसे हुए जो अपनी ड्यूटी करते थे but they were totally in devotion, so I think this is what अर्जुन को भी।
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vinita and Neha. Vinti, sorry. Neha. So, one practical tip on how to gauge whether आप अपनी ड्यूटी ही कर रहे हो या आप ओवरडू कर रहे हो अपनी ड्यूटी। हम सब ड्यूटी के नाम पे काफी पाखंड करते हैं, ड्यूटी है, घर चलाना है करते हैं, बहुत उसमें unnecessary चीजें हमने डाली हुई हैं। So if you are not finding time for chanting, reading, hearing, Vaishnav Seva or any kind of regular Seva, then we are fooling ourselves. This is pakhand in the name of my duty. Because 24 घंटे इस तरह से भगवान ने डिजाइन किए हैं that there is sufficient time to do both. If you're not finding time for your spiritual activities, then you are over attached to your household duties, या आपका मन कम है भक्ति में. Don't blame household work for that. हमारा मन नहीं है, हमारी इच्छा नहीं है, and therefore we are trying to find an escape route कि नहीं मेरी यहाँ पे जरूरत है. लाइफ में बैलेंस होना जरूरी है, और वो बैलेंस अगर हम नहीं बना रहे हैं, that is a reflection of the real condition of my interest. My interest does not lie in bhakti. This is a way to cross-check where you are in your spiritual life. If you're struggling to finish your rounds every day or carrying it forward every day for some reason or the other, this means that you are very attached to your materialistic. You're more material than you would like to believe. There has to be enough time to do both. That is one way of finding it. And regular seva, because then when the time actually comes when nobody needs us in the house, we will cry because we were so attached to it, we were not able to leave it gradually with time. Then we will cry because our feeling of well-being, our feeling of depended on this only, on doing my household duties so well. कि household में जब हमारी जरूरत ही नहीं किसी को रहेगी, सब independent हो गए, सब अपना काम खुद कर रहे हैं, then your heart is now in anxiety. I'm useless. Nobody wants me. What did I do? I spent all my life here. ये सब these things are sounding familiar ना? सारा जीवन इनके लिए लगा दे, हमें पूछते नहीं है, क्योंकि उन्हीं को आपने अपना आधार बना दिया. अटैचमेंट उनके साथ हो गई. हरिनाम से अटैचमेंट होनी चाहिए थी, उनसे ही अटैचमेंट हो गई. उन्हीं के साथ एक्सेसिव टाइम, एक्सेसिव समय दे दिया, and then you cry in old age. Just a minute. You can discontinue recording it. Anji? So we have to make our plan our day and life in such a way that we are not neglecting one to do the other. We are fooling ourselves. There is enough time. Time को हम excuse नहीं बना सकते कि अगर time नहीं निकल पा रहा है, मतलब we are doing either we are sleeping more or we are outdoors more. Some activity we are doing more than required, which is eating away our bhakti time. Does that sound doable, practical?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody depends on us. We don't depend on anyone, and life moves on for everyone. Housework is not. Housework also has a limit. family life also has a limit. Children don't need us all the time. Household people also don't need us all.
One thing
If
more,
you're not finding time for Krishna,
more I've seen, if we give more attention to house also, then we become finicky and other get irritated that
yes,
about cleanliness, about upkeep. We start becoming ये यहाँ क्यों हो गया, ये वहाँ क्या हो गया. If we give too much of attention, that also happens.
absolutely, absolutely. So we have to start working on ourselves now. Have you discontinued the recording? Vinita,
No.
Uma?
No.
No, it's continue.
Going on.
Vinita, Uma, are you there?
She had said she has some guests over, तो बीच में उठ जाएगी. तो I guess she must have उठ गई
चलो,
होगी.
कोई बात नहीं,
हाँ.
कोई बात नहीं. But I guess we all understood practically what to do. And now is a good time. In fact, this is the last stage in our lives. If we don't start practicing it now, we are going to have a tough time in old age. When nobody needs us, and then people are discussing on Instagram and internet, emptiness syndrome, menopausal syndrome, this syndrome, that syndrome, let's get together and form hugging clubs. Let's form this club, that club. वो क्यों हो रहा है? Because वो handle नहीं कर पा रहे उस situation को. हमें भागवतम जिसके घर में है उसको अगर ये सब चीजें करनी पड़ रही है तो it's a shame. उनके पास तो information नहीं है, knowledge नहीं है, हमारे पास तो सब कुछ है. उसके बावजूद if we are ending up in that situation and they don't have any spiritual Aadhar.
I want to share one experience. My mother expired this October, and my father took up Bhagavatam because he was reading these things to recite for her in the last 6 months. उनके लिए वो पढ़ रहे थे गीता, वो सब पढ़ रहे थे, तो वो एक प्रैक्टिस में आ गए थे. फिर जब when she left, तो मैंने उनको बोला, मैंने कहा आप पढ़ तो रही थे, तो अब आप भागवतम पे अपना शुरू कर लो. गीता आप पूरा पढ़ चुके हो एक बार अच्छे से, पहले भी पढ़ चुके थे, मम्मी के लिए पढ़ते थे वो, तो भागवतम उन्होंने शुरू कर ली. तो मैंने एक बहुत अच्छा वो देखा. मतलब जनरली मैं अभी अपने कोलीग को भी देख रही हूँ स्कूल में जिसकी वाइफ एक्सपायर्ड, ही इज स्टिल नॉट लाइक, ही इज काइंड ऑफ डिससैटिस्फाइड. मतलब जब भी मैं पूछती हूँ, ही आस्क्ड मी कि मैं क्या करूँ, बहुत खालीपन है ये. तो मैंने उनको सजेस्ट किया कि यू फर्स्ट टेक टू भगवद गीता एंड देन, तो लेकिन फिर मैं ये भी देखा कि उनका कुछ और चीज में इंटरेस्ट है, तो मैंने कहा आप धीरे धीरे पहले वो करो. तो और माय फादर स्टार्टेड विद श्रीमद् भागवतम, 2 गीता प्रेस वाली है उनके पास, वही पढ़ रहे थे, अब ऑलमोस्ट फिनिशिंग पे हैं, 6 months. तो लेकिन उनमें एक चेंज मैंने देखा कि पहले जो तरीके का, मतलब शुरू में उनको खालीपन लगा, अब आफ्टर 6 months एक दिन मैंने उनका एक सेंटेंस ही मुझे पता लग गया. पहले वो कहते थे हमें ही सोचना पड़ेगा खाने का, कल क्या बनाना है, क्या है, दिस एंड दैट. बट नाउ ही सेड कि अब मतलब हमें वी आर यूज्ड टू. एंड अब वो जब भी शाम को फोन पे बात होती है, मैं पूछती हूँ आज क्या पढ़ा, देन ही टेल्स एवरीथिंग कि उन्होंने कौन सा स्कंद कौन सा, और उसमें पूरा ही डिस्क्राइब्स, एंड ही लव्स डूइंग इट एवरी डे. तो because of Bhagavatam, because of this, मतलब he has been able to come out of that. जबकि
yes, the attachment turns to detachment. Absolutely.
3 साल से जबकि वो सेवा में ही थे मम्मी के, लेकिन वो जो एकदम जो वो वाली चीज थी, वो उससे वो बाहर आए. And I think because of that atmosphere, my brother, though he doesn't इतना actively engaged नहीं है इस चीज में, लेकिन वो जब मैं और पापा बात करते हैं तो he is around. So I think he overhears. तो चाहे वो डायरेक्टली इंटरेस्ट नहीं दिखाता है, लेकिन उसके कान में पड़ रहा है. तो उसमें भी मैंने ये देखा कि बहुत ही हैज आल्सो गॉन थ्रू अ लॉट पर्सनली एंड एवरीथिंग, लेकिन मतलब दे आर एबल टू क्रॉस. ये सबसे बड़ी चीज देखी मैंने. तो अब आई एम एट पीस कि चलो ये लोग, ये पापा सबसे ज्यादा कि स्पिरिचुअली अब ही इज ऑन ट्रैक. तो अब वो थोड़ा सा, मैंने उनको यही बुक्स भी मैंने दी, जैसे ये वाला वैदिक वाला दिया जो आपने मुझे दिया था, एंड देन परफेक्ट क्वेश्चंस, परफेक्ट आंसर्स. सो ही इज कॉन्स्टेंटली रीडिंग सम और द अदर थिंग. फिर मैंने उनको भी बता दिया कि चैतन्य चरितामृत भी मैं दूंगी आपको एक वॉल्यूम करके. सो ही वाज रिसेप्टिव. ये मेरे लिए मतलब उनका सबसे बड़ी चीज है, दो आई डोंट गो टू हिम एवरी डे, फोन पे ही होता है ये सब, बट जो मुझे पहले लगता था कि पता नहीं कैसे होगा जब मम्मी नहीं होंगी कैसे करेंगे, बट नाउ आई डोंट हैव दैट। अब मुझे उनकी चिंता नहीं, मतलब चिंता खत्म हो जाती है। दिस इज व्हाट आई हैव सीन द मोमेंट इसमें इंटरेस्ट आने से, दिस इज व्हाट आई हैव सीन।
Thank you so much, Vinti, for sharing, because real life examples are the biggest learners. Philosophy समझ नहीं आती जब तक real life example कोई ना हो। तो अगर डेथ कॉन्कर हो जाती है तो फिर बचा क्या, और क्या प्रूफ चाहिए? सबसे लाइफ की सबसे बड़ी डिफिकल्टी प्रॉब्लम इज टू एक्सेप्ट डेथ एंड टू कन्फ्रंट डेथ। और जिसने डेथ की वजह से जो डिस्कम्फर्ट हो रहा है उसी को अगर जीत लिया तो इससे ज्यादा प्रूफ क्या चाहिए? सो एम्प्टीनेस सिंड्रोम तो बहुत छोटी सी चीज है उसके आगे, एंड ओल्ड एज भी बहुत छोटी सी चीज है उसके आगे। ऐसा नहीं है कि डिफिकल्टीज आनी बंद हो जाएंगी, लेकिन हमारी कॉन्शियसनेस और एटीट्यूड ही इतना बदल चुका होगा that we are not disturbed by that. शीतोष्ण सुख दुखदाः. We are so used to tolerating the seasons now that तुम कुछ भी ले आओ, आंधी ले आओ, तूफान ले आओ, we are roughened and toughened and we are able to not waver. Mainly it's not just about tolerating, it is about continuing the process of bhakti despite
Not
this.
leaving the path.
Yes. That's the best.
But Mataji, इसमें तो like Vinti का example is such a nice one कि like her father is acceptable, like he received and he accepted. But for the my case, जैसे मेरे father-in-law हैं, अंजलि के father-in-law, they are so strong and they are so rigid कि उनके संग कुछ भी करो, they are not ready. Like same story with my father-in-law. मैंने उनको माला दी, कितनी बार बोला कि आप चैंट किया करो, जाप, वो जाप करते हैं, उनकी अपनी पर्सनल पूजा है, बट भगवत गीता वगैरह वो कुछ भी मतलब। और मैं जब करती हूँ तो समटाइम्स होता है इफ ही इज नॉट इन द गुड मूड तो ही कमेंट्स, अपने घर के काम देखने चाहिए, ये जाप वगैरह तो तुम बाद में भी कभी भी कर सकती हो। तो आई जस्ट इग्नोर, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि ये टाइम, मुझे क्या पता कब मेरे संग कल क्या हो जाए, द नेक्स्ट मोमेंट मैं हूं नहीं हूँ। बट इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर दैट स्टेज, कि जो इस एज के पीपल होते हैं, जो हमारे सीनियर्स हैं 75 प्लस हैं, तो दे डोंट वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड आल्सो एंड दे नॉट रेडी टू एक्सेप्ट आल्सो।
Vinita Amma, we were looking for you. You can आप रिकॉर्डिंग बंद कर दीजिए। भारती, सबसे पहले तो ये जो बातें हैं